So Laura, we've spoken before on our videos that we put out. We put out a weekly video, don't we, on
We do, yeah.
with tips and advice and pieces on strategy and marketing, web projects and so on. But we don't do too much where we're sharing a bit more personally. So the idea of sitting down here is just to learn a little bit more about you, if you're good with that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Are you sure?
Yeah, well, we'll ease you in because we'll start with a little bit of work life rather than life. So, and I think your pattern through work is interesting. It's different from most people in our team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about
My first job was at a football club,
Yeah.
which I stayed at for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So I was started there as match day and ticket office staff.
Yeah.
Worked there throughout.
One of the most famous clubs in the land, I should say.
Preston North End.
Yeah. The original champions.
Yeah. So started in the ticket office and worked there whilst I was doing my degree, and worked there for a little bit afterwards, and then started as a graphic designer at Preston North End. So I stayed within the marketing team at Preston North End for about 11 years. So a long time.
And how long were you in all your roles there? How long were you?
From start to finish, 19 years.
19 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Wow.
Because I started as a sort of young girl doing match days. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was big part of my life for a long time.
Almost in your DNA.
Yeah, and I met my husband there as well, so.
Even more in your DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, in your children's DNA.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah. And they got involved. They were in kit shoots and things like that when they were little, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's sort of there in the background all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was there for a long time. And then when I left, I went to a company that did like telecare for people who had disabilities or older people who lived alone, that type of thing.
Telecare, what is that? That's
so
a
like
phone.
alarms and your
yeah,
house.
right.
Yeah. So I was in the marketing team there, marketing and communications, and we built an e-commerce site.
Okay.
So they didn't have an e-commerce site when we started, so that was one of the big projects that I worked on. So that's the sort of first time really that I got deep into websites and the background of websites and things like that. So, and I was there for just under 3 years, and now I'm here. And
you've taken to it like a duck to water, haven't you? Really, you've been involved in projects on the marketing. We have two teams, don't we? The marketing and the web teams. Yeah. Websites and marketing. And you started out in marketing, and now you're in the web team delivering web projects.
That's right, yeah.
Quite successfully delivered on both sides.
Yeah, I think because obviously my history, my background, it covers both. So there was always that possibility that I could go one way or the other. Yeah. Because I had experience with both. Whereas some people are very much more down one route or the other. Yeah. But I had both, so.
There was one interesting thing you said to me, which was it's obvious when we see it work, you're really natural with people, with the clients and with colleagues, and communication is really clear and everyone knows where they stand and all this sort of thing. So I think managing project and managing marketing is very natural. Yeah. Fit, it seems. But you said, that 19 years was a lot of that was in customer facing, or at least stakeholder facing roles but your description of the different types of customers you would face interested me.
Yeah, so I think that's where my confidence comes with talking to people that I've never met before, because I spent it's not just part of my career, but the first part. So it was like the first skill I learned really was customer service. Right. So, and being at a football club, obviously you meet a variety of people, older people, younger people, people that have been in the pub before they come to the game. Drunk people, essentially, yeah. So you have to be able to adapt.
The question has to be, to what extent does delivering customer service for drunk people help you now delivering customer service for our clients?
Well,
I hope there's not too much overlap.
Definitely no overlap, but it has helped me read people better. Definitely, right. Like you learn those skills depending on, how you need to deal with someone. So, like I say, you learn to adapt when you're dealing with lots of different type of people rather than the same type of person.
Right, and that's a little bit what we get if we're pitching or it's a project workshop, and suddenly, some of this we do mostly face to face, but sometimes it's the online calls, isn't it? Video calls. Yeah. And you can suddenly there's 3 different stakeholders in the meeting, and but your natural thing will be to read.
Yeah, so I think it's really important to be able to think, well, actually, the style of conversation that I would have with one person it's not across the board. It wouldn't work with
Yeah.
somebody different. So I do think one of my skills is being able to adapt that conversation style and my approach dependent on what would resonate most with that person
Yeah.
and what would work and get through to that person the best.
We don't want to go too much into, I hate to give advice so much in this conversation, but it would be interesting just to cover on the web project side. It's the core of your work, isn't it? Obviously, in the web projects.
Yeah.
Even just last week, I'd seen the end of a project that you delivered, and it was just right. The client's delighted. It was on time.
Yeah.
It was on budget. Everything was. It's a very complex web project, isn't it? With all the assets and designer and different stakeholders.
Yeah.
And, you got the technical side and the delivery and the transition from the old sites. There's a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah.
If somebody watching, we have lots of marketing teams, people, marketing managers watching these videos. Is there sort of 2 or 3 keys to how you get that from the starting point where it's a conversation to it's a finished piece and it's just right and it's live and it's on time? And what's your secret?
I think keeping the momentum is definitely one of them. So don't let things slip and slide. It's important to keep things moving all the time.
Yeah.
If you're leaving periods of time between conversations or milestones within the project, it gets blurry. People forget what's been said and things like that. So it's important to keep things moving all the way through so that the project runs smoothly but quickly and succinctly, and so that everyone knows all the steps. So that's definitely one of them. Another one is just working to process. So we have a process here, a 91-step process that we follow for the web projects.
Yeah.
So I
always think it sounds like so many steps.
I like to think of it as it sounds like a lot of steps, but the steps are for us so that the steps are few for the client.
So the steps, it might be worth painting a picture actually. So some of those things are checks.
Yeah, just
At
checkpoints.
different points, or their communication with the client at different points. Or
some of them are smaller checks than other bits of the process, but as long as you're ticking off all of those steps, or if something you think, that didn't run quite right, you can refer back to the process and think, well, that's because that was missing, or that bit didn't quite run right, or it always comes back to the process. So if you develop a process as we have and it works, stick to that for each project. Obviously things are slightly different, but the steps should always be the same.
It makes it more predictable. Yeah. And I would have circled back round. It would be quite personal. This is about you rather than the process.
Yeah.
But so in the role then, I like this thing about when we're in flow and we've got full satisfaction or the maximum satisfaction in a role. Yeah. And most roles, you don't have 100% of that. There's some bits that this is more a chore, it's not quite my thing, or this is the bit I really love. Mm-hmm. What's the bits where you're most natural and most yourself and happiest?
I really like the start of the web projects, to be honest. The workshops, the design sprint workshops that we run, and the whole design process. Because obviously I've got from a creative background. That's the bit that I feel the most confident with and the most comfortable with, and like I've got an eye over it. So I love that side of it. But the best bit has to be, delivering a successful project throughout the process. So once the project's live, everybody's happy and it's been a success. That's the best bit.
Yeah.
I like certain points throughout the middle, but the best bit is the outcome, really.
Right. So when it's done and it's like it's gift wrapped and it's finished.
Yeah,
and it's,
exactly.
That's just right. That's another one done.
Yeah, and you can look at the web project that you've delivered and think it's how we talked about it in the beginning. That's what's happened. You've delivered what you said you was going to deliver 6 to 8 weeks ago, whenever the project started.
Yeah, you do it at pace as well.
Yeah.
Very good. Just to wrap us up or move us towards wrapping up, I do want to cover in this a little bit of, I don't just want to speak about work.
Okay.
And I know a little bit about your non-work life.
Yes.
And some of what you've got going on. I know that your schedule makes me feel stressed even just when I hear about it. But could you share a little bit? And is there something we might not know about an interest that you've got?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm that much of an enigma, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a mum of 2 girls, which keeps me very busy. They're budding dancers, so essentially I moonlight as a taxi driver in the evenings, running them from classes and back and things like that. It's all very coordinated.
Shall I just say the reason I know? Do you know why I know? I think I told you.
Can't remember.
It's because when we book meetings
the
in,
calendar.
you've overlaid your
Yeah.
home calendar.
Yeah.
And I switch it on to check your availability. And I'm like, oh my God. I felt busy till I saw this.
And half of it's not even in there because the regular stuff is all up here. So I don't put the regular, it's only the extra stuff that goes in the calendar.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very busy, dance competitions on the weekends, classes, things like that. But, you know, when I get time to not be a taxi driver, I get time off. My husband and I we'd like to go locally within Lancashire and discover new food places. We're foodies. We like to go to gigs and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And
Who have you seen?
recently we saw a 90s band called the Space Monkeys.
Yes.
And we also saw Paul McCartney before Christmas.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a ticket. I regret it.
I know. It was really good.
Magical.
Sorry, it was rubbish. You didn't miss anything.
I saw it on YouTube.
So music definitely a big part. Reading, things like that. Anything where I can switch off because I am so busy all the time.
Yeah.
It's just anything that allows me to switch off.
Well, all that said, I think we'll wrap up and you can have 10 minutes and a nice quiet cup of tea.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.